intro set, and we have a new guest in our beautiful Mercedes S Cabriolet. It's Riad from SAP Hybris. He's the Global Vice President of Commerce and Strategy. And you closed the circle basically here in Cannes. We had all the tech players here, Twitter, Google, Adobe, Oracle, and all the other guys. They've been here coming like every year, one after the other.
Yep.
And now this year for the first time, SAP Hybris at Cannes Lions. So I think we have now all global tech companies here. Describe why and how come you are here.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the, and thank you, Lucas, if you look at the strategy of SAP Hybris the last couple of years, we've basically fundamentally transformed as an organization. We have historically been very strong and renowned for our back office solutions. And, a couple of years back, all the way back in 2013, we recognized that a lot of the opportunity and the innovation that our customers were looking for fell not so much into traditional back office operational efficiency type of solutions, but also in engaging with the customers in different ways and different innovative ways of engaging with the customers. So SAP has been at the forefront of that market segment for many years with aggressive investments in the last couple of years specifically. And so we are now here today, part of the big players, looking for ways to help our customers interact much better with their end consumers and customers. And so we're thrilled to be here. It was a great event. We saw a lot of potential customers as well, of course, as partners. And it was great to see familiar faces as well as meet new ones.
So that's why you come to Cannes. It's the global meeting hub for creativity, and here you meet all the clients and agencies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, the fostering a very vibrant ecosystem is absolutely key when it comes to this space. And this ecosystem, of course, includes more traditional technology SIs and vendors, as well as, of course, the creative folks. And so creativity is a key part of any organization's, large or small, digital transformation journey. And it doesn't happen without the creative aspect. And so Cannes in general and the Lions specifically are a hub for that kind of creative vibes. And so that's of course why we're here, and we're taking it all in and hopefully having an impact as well.
So you don't agree with some gentlemen here who raised up a kind of big discussion whether there has been a kind of hostile takeover of the tech companies of the Creative Festival. There is no creativity anymore. Tech is in the focus. Everything is tech driven. So we are always asking the people, how do you see it? Should the things get together, or should they be splitted like it was? Should we keep the history, or should we go in a kind of transformation process in Cannes Lions as well? How do you see it? Tech and creativity, you already answered a little bit of it.
Absolutely, and from our point of view, really, there is no real, I would say, even discussion to be had. At the end of the day, I mean, you look at the market forces and how the market have converged. Today, the spend of CMO is in a lot of different sectors, a lot of different verticals, as important, if not more important in technology than it is in creative. So for us, it's really a question of the two coming together, and then by bridging the two worlds, you can really benefit the end customer at the end of the day. And so that's our point of view. We don't see it as technology versus creativity. From our point of view, is how do we bring the two together, to benefit the end customer. And I think that's what we should collectively, as a ecosystem, strive for.
Can you be creative driven by technology, or how can you be creative driven by technology? Because there seems to be a problem of understanding in how technology can help to be creative. Yeah. So, what is your opinion about that question? Can you be creative driven by technology?
So, if you take a moment and maybe step, a couple of years or 5-10 years back, the creative process, used to happen very much in a vacuum, right, in a bubble, and so a lot of the actual ROI measurements in the success of a specific campaign or specific creative content, happened after the fact. Today, where technology, or where we believe technology can actually help evolve the creative process, is by leveraging data points across the creative journey. So it doesn't have to be a release and then basically pray for the best type of approach, but rather you can continuously use the data points, use the information from your customers, see how they actually react to a specific creative campaign or what have you, and then tailor that depending on how the market responds. And so that's really an area where we believe technology, big data analytics, can fundamentally shape, or at least help shape in some way and form the creative process. Today, marketeers are satisfied with an average of a 0.03 conversion rate for a specific marketing campaign, and that's really, at the end of the day, that's really unacceptable. And making sure that we understand the context of the user, that we understand it in real time, that we leverage technology and those data points to drive, and those insights to actually drive a more personalized conversation with the end customer, is absolutely key. And then of course the creative process plays an important role in that. So testing along the way, making sure that you adapt and that you reflect the needs and the wants of the customer are absolutely critical from our point of view. And so we believe that the creative aspect needs to play a role in that as well.
All right. So let's speak about digital transformation.
Yes.
You as SAP are working together with a lot of big enterprises who are right in the middle of in the process of digital transformation.
Yep.
What we also always try to figure out, where is the biggest gap in the big enterprise companies, when they're in the process of change. Is it on the one hand side, on the side of ideas, so how to digitize, how to monetize, or is it more on the execution side? Is there an execution gap within the companies? Because since you're facing so many companies, how do you see it? More ideas side?
Yep.
Is it lack of ideas or lack of execution? What is the SAP view?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. And from our perspective, from SAP Hybris' perspective, if you look, the answer is it depends, of course. But first and foremost, it's all about a mindset, and very often we see that mindset really being driven, top down, all the way from not just the CMO, but actually even the CEO in a lot of these successful organizations who embark on these journeys. And that means things as basic as understanding the customer and reaching the customer in the channels that he or she wishes to choose, and those of course include new digital channels. But it also means much more significant transformations, such as new innovative business models. The IT industry, for example, is in the midst of its own digital transformation, right? With cloud and subscription type of consumption model. And so all of these forces are converging, and making sure that as an organization that you basically have that strategy in place, as well as organizationally be set up or ready for the execution part, is absolutely key. And frankly, organizations that are successful in embarking on these kind of significant digital transformation projects typically have both sides of the medal in place. So the strategy and the vision coming from all the way from the top, as well as the teams in place for consistent and right execution to be able to support that strategy.
You mentioned that SAP is driving change in the own organization day by day. How how do you manage that, given the size you have? I mean, the company, I think SAP is like some 40,000 people.
Yep.
How do you manage it to be agile? Because Eric Schmidt
Sure.
from Alphabet was on stage here in Cannes, and he said the one quote,
Yep.
Dynamism is the new creativity.
Absolutely.
So it's key to success for a company to be agile and to be flexible.
Absolutely.
How do you manage this? Is there an example or basically maybe an advice for other companies? How does SAP manage that?
So it's not something that happens overnight. I think this is something that organizations, have to be realistic about. It's not something that happens overnight, but it's something that you have to, to seed and foster. So the way at SAP, we basically embarked on that journey is that by first and foremost, recognizing that the world is changing, and that recognition really needs to come from the top. Just accepting the status quo and wanting the world to stay the same is just not a viable option anymore. So I think that's number one. There has to be that recognition from the top, and then it's a matter of making sure that you see that new way of thinking across the organization, and so that includes of course as obvious things as your hiring strategy and the folks that you onboard and that you bring on board. It also includes, of course, impacts from an acquisition strategy. So making sure that the software companies that you actually bring on board and acquire are not only bringing specific IP that can help your portfolio, but also the talent and the creative minds and the agile minds that can actually accelerate that transformation from within. And then, of course, training your people and making sure that they're, that they're up to speed and knowledgeable with the latest trends and technologies is also absolutely key. So, I think it's a multi-pronged effort. It's something that takes time, but it's something that needs to be, really driven by the highest level of the organization and a true, clear. Strategy coming all the way from the top for it to actually cascade it and be deployed successfully within all of the organization.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
I think if an agency wants to know more about SAP Hybris, we will we put the URL and then you get on the website all information on SAP Hybris. And see you next year in Cannes.
Okay,
absolutely.
Riad.
Thank you for having me, guys.
It was a pleasure.
Let me know if I can keep the car.